In order for the panel to work correctly, our photo layer must be called background. Normally in the Photoshop, the photos that are imported are called background, but if we have changed the name after the import, for example in this case it is called test, it is important to change the name of the layer in background. Once we have renamed the layer of our photo with the name background, we can use the panel correctly. Complete Workflow is a panel which was designed to facilitate the workflow while processing a photo. Powerful actions have been included that allow us to achieve amazing results in few seconds. Once a photo has been imported, it will no longer be necessary to go back to Camera Raw to lighten, darken, open or close the shadows, or to control the highlights. Just a simple click and everything will be solved. You can add or desaturate a specific color. We all know how much quality is lost when scaling a photo to be posted on the social networks, if we don't follow the complicated procedure in which the photo is first scaled in two distinct phases, then a constant is applied, sharpness and saturation are added, etc. Thanks to our high-resolution resize action, you just have to simply enter the pixel values in the appropriate window, height or length, and the action will perform everything automatically. There are many other interesting functions, such as black vignette, spotlight, noise reduce and sharpen. Furthermore, with just a click you can save your work in PSD, TIFF or JPG, and just as quickly convert your photos into sRGB, Adobe RGB, or into ProPhoto. Let's take a look at some of these actions by processing some photos. In this first example, the photo is underexposed. You can notice it also through the histogram. The Auto Bright action helps us. It's as if we had opened Camera Raw and made an automatic adjustment, however, all this with a simple click. You could also apply Auto Bright again if the photo is still underexposed. You can always adjust the opacity if the effect is too accentuated. Now I add the Dark Highlights action, and the photo is correctly exposed. Let's compare the before and after photos. I would say that the result is excellent and obtained in a few seconds. In this second example, the problem is exactly the opposite one. That is, the photo is overexposed. In this case, I use the Auto Dark action. And at this point, I also use Dark Highlights to achieve the intended purpose. Let's compare the before and after photos. Now the picture is exposed in the right way. Auto Bright and Auto Dark are, therefore, two very useful specific actions that allow to obtain a correct exposure in a few seconds. Let's move on to the next example, Magic Color 1. Once the action is launched, you can immediately see the result. If you look at the action folder, you will see a whole series of adjustments, such as color adjustment, bright boost, polarize, contrast, and others. It will be sufficient to turn the layer on or off to add or remove that specific adjustment. Remember that for each action we can increase or decrease the opacity both in general and for each individual layer. Let's see the before and after pictures. Now let's move on to the next example. Using the Magic Color 2 action. Conceptually, it is very different from Color 1. If we open the Magic Color 2 folder, we see several adjustments. There are adjustments to change the tone of our picture, and also effects such as matte, vignetting or shadows. It is a very powerful action that can suggest the mood to give to our photo. Even in this case, you can increase or decrease the general opacity or the opacity of each individual adjustment. Let's compare the before and after results. In the next example, we will see how to work with colors. In this picture, I want to increase the general color. Once applied, however, I notice that blue and red are too bright. So I click on the Desaturate Color panel and then click on the blue and red colors. Now I like the color of the photo more. It is really very simple to saturate or desaturate a color thanks to these actions. Let's compare the before and after results. Now let's move on to the next example. Once the picture has been processed through the creative panels of GigaPresets, if we need to publish it on the various socials, we have to deal with the fact that they accept photos of small dimensions. We have tried several times to do it through Photoshop image size, but the result has always been rather poor. How can we reduce a photo while maintaining sharpness and saturation? It's simple, just use HQ Resize and Sharpen for the web. Our picture has a resolution of 6000 by 4000 pixels, and we want to reduce it to about 1200. How shall we proceed? It is simple, just type the value 1200 in the gray box next to by width, and the height value will be calculated automatically. Conversely, we can do it starting from the height value. Once the photo is reduced, we have 3 levels of sharpen. The top one is recommended for photos with the largest side around 4000 pixels. With 3 levels of sharpen, it will be possible to decide how much the sharpen effect will affect the final result. Once the picture is saved by using the Save As of the panel, and then by choosing JPG, we can save it to subsequently post it on social networks. The cases we have just seen represent only some examples of the potential of the complete workflow panel, an essential tool to optimize our workflow.